Hello everybody, what's up?
Pac-Man 5698. Hello guys, Pac-Man 5698 here with another update. Well, what can I say? This isn't technically a video game update where I already have a video game or I'm discussing, I don't know, what I think about a video game, but I think I've made only about two or three of these in the past, but for those of you who are new, sometimes I just like to make videos in which I just like to tell you all what I think about a new game that's about to come out or has been rumored to come out, what are my thoughts, how I think this game could be good, how I think this game could be bad. But anyway, this is the first video game update where I'm going to combine two updates into one. If I have the chance to compress it all into one video, I don't see any reasons on why I should make two videos. You know, one video is going to bury the other. So I'm going to get started. The first video game, well, not video game update. What should I say? Well, it hasn't really been thought of exactly. It was just recently rumored. I watched this video, which was about a minute and 30 seconds longer. No, maybe it was 3 minutes. But anyway, I looked up on Machinima's channel. You know, Machinima, who's probably one of the probably the biggest industry in YouTube, at least I would say. And anyway, Machinima had a video in which they had titled "Rumors: New Boba Fett Game." And when I saw this video, I was like, wow, really, a new Boba Fett game here. Boba Fett, as you all know, or for those of you who don't know, he's one of the most cherished characters in all of Star Wars. He's probably the best minor character in the entire Star Wars saga, the entire Star Wars franchise. Everybody loves him, and in fact, people loved him so much, the comic books kind of brought him back to life. You know, he escaped from the Sarlacc pit, and now there's this future of what he could do in the comic books. It seems like all throughout his life he's had to deal with the Empire, the Clone Wars, the rebellion taking over into the New Republic. So when they make a video game about him, it has to be done in a way that uses it to at least, I wouldn't say all of it, every advantage it could possibly take, but at least every advantage the technology of the time will allow. So, what do I think about a new Boba Fett game? It's been rumored, but if this new Boba Fett game is going to be made, what should it be like? Well, I don't think I would go for something like Lego Star Wars, or maybe even, I haven't played Bounty Hunter, but I've seen clips of the game. Bounty Hunter doesn't seem like my cup of tea, but I know a lot of people liked it. I saw comments that said, whoa, the new Boba Fett game could be Bounty Hunter too, but I'll kind of disagree. I would make this new Boba Fett game a free roaming game. That's right, a sandbox game. Of course, now when you're usually talking about sandbox free roaming games, what do you think? Oh, so Rockstar, for example, should create the new Boba Fett game. No, this is what I think. Rockstar should stick to their originality. Games like GTA 4, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, LA Noire, Red Dead Redemption, where they create their own storylines, where they experiment with their settings, where they usually don't have a whole lot of copyright tie-ins, they don't usually, you know, help out other studios. They should just stick to their own thing. Now, although I know it would be a bad idea if Rockstar did this, but I just think that overall Rockstar should stick to, how can I put this? I just think the Star Wars universe would kind of be a little bit too much for Rockstar technology to handle. Now, don't get me wrong, I love Rockstar technology. I think it's probably one of the highest companies that prides itself on technology ever. They have reasons to be proud of their technology. It's awesome. Red Dead Redemption, LA Noire, Grand Theft Auto, exactly. But I just feel that Bethesda, yeah, that's right, Bethesda, who's made the Elder Scrolls series and Fallout, are the right choices to make this Boba Fett game, because Rockstar does a really good job with putting stories that were either from time periods in the past or current generation. Now that's where Rockstar really has it. But I think when it comes to setting up your own world, which I'm kind of contradicting myself. I just said this about Rockstar, but again, this is hard. I just have this feeling that Bethesda should be the rightful creators of the new Boba Fett game. Now, here's what I say. Bethesda probably, although it's not as impressive as Rockstar AI, it has really, it provides a lot of memory. I mean, a lot of memory. And when you're making a Boba Fett game, it's a Star Wars game. Just look at something like the Force Unleashed or the Old Republic or Star Wars Galaxies. You want to go across the galaxy to all of these different planets. Now, judging how, of course, you can't make all of these planets, I'll probably never, well, it could be possible in video games, but it doesn't look like that anytime soon. You can't put an entire planet space, like an entire planet, in a video game with you to free roam around. No, no. But when it comes to that, I think Bethesda would just be better when if you're roaming around in, like when you're chilling out in your ship in space, or when you're just going to different planets and you look for stuff to do. That's why, I don't know, yeah, that's kind of like why I have the feeling that Bethesda should make a Boba Fett game and join with LucasArts. Now, what would I expect from this game? Free roaming, of course. You can go free roaming to different planets. You could go to Magito, Tatooine, Camino, maybe even Endor. Endor Prime. You can also go to other places, and maybe there's spots of trivia where you see leftovers of some important event that happened. Like, take for example, maybe if it happens after the time of the Empire, if you go to Endor's moon, you can find this big, big pile of rubble with a destroyed satellite. So hey, it's a little reminder of what happened at the Battle of Endor. And again, sandbox, free roaming, and personally, I don't want it to be a prequel. We've had Star Wars prequels, both in movie forms and in games. Let's just go on after what happened in Return of the Jedi. What happens after the Empire has crumbled? What happens to all these characters like Princess Leia, Han Solo, and Luke Skywalker? In this game, maybe you can encounter them, and this provides an interesting thing for Boba Fett to communicate with. I mean, Boba Fett was doing bounties for all sorts of organizations, but it was mainly for the Empire, and now the Empire's dissolved, and he did a lot of horrible things to the rebellion, selling them out to Jabba the Hutt. So is he going to get fired? Does he get fired after this whole ordeal where the rebellion creates the New Republic? Also, I would also prefer it if maybe also like in Skyrim you could take other people's armor and instead of new clothing types or skins, you're not just fixed to one suit of armor or just rearranging your suit of armor so it looks kind of different. Like, take for example, you're Boba Fett and your default armor is of course the Mandalorian bounty hunter default armor. You always have that armor on, and you have like this little satchel, this inventory system that works well. You can take off your armor anytime, so if you're going to Boba Fett's home, and by the way, this is interesting, it will be like John Marston, Boba Fett in the comics, even before the Empire crumbled, has a wife and a daughter. So you could go home and maybe you can chill out with your family. We can actually see good shots of what Boba Fett looks like without the helmet. Also, you could, as I was said before, get new armor types. If you kill a Republic member of the New Republic, then you can get New Republic armor, but your default armor will always stay with you. If you kill a renegade stormtrooper that still thinks the Empire is alive and well, you can get stormtrooper armor. You can get Sandman armor. You could get Tusken Raider armor. All this other stuff. It would just be a really cool setup, like in Skyrim. First person would also work, like in Battlefront 2, first person was really, really interesting to play as, but you can also play in third person, you could get good looks at Boba Fett's armor and Boba Fett himself, but then again, first person would be cool because you would probably be in the suit of technology. You would probably be able to have all of these interesting things Boba Fett can do, you can have an advanced targeting system, you can see in good detail what your gun looks like when you pull it out. And you can get all sorts of different guns, like blasters, rifles. Although you don't know how to use the Force, maybe Boba Fett will actually. You can pick up lightsabers from newly trained Jedi's and just use the lightsabers and go around slicing people. A new Boba Fett game with current technology opens up an entire world that could probably lead to the best Star Wars game ever since Rogue Leader Rogue Squadron 2. And, of course, I love Rogue Leader Rogue Squadron 2. So, speaking of which, let's add some dogfight scenarios. Yeah, when you go from planet to planet, if you don't want to flash travel, you just want to enjoy yourself in the void of space, and if you come to say, oh no, a bunch of TIE fighters are trying to attack me because they've misidentified me as a member of the New Republic, then you could just go into this awesome Rogue Leader, Rogue Squadron 2-esque, just fight, firing your lasers. You have all these types of weapons. And try first, again, like in Rogue Leader, first person inside these ships. All the ships would look awesome with these types of graphics. And also, it would be nice to have different kinds of ships. You're not just limited to your slave ships. You can also get, again, TIE fighters if you discover them, X-Wings, kind of like jacking cars in Grand Theft Auto 4. Maybe sometimes you could just go up to somebody's land speeders like, hey, get out of here, I'm taking over this land speeder. And of course, you could have Radiant missions. Boba Fett is a bounty hunter. That's what he's supposed to do. You could go to different planets and, oh hey, Megiddo has put a bounty on this person who all of a sudden managed to get to Camino. So that would be pretty interesting. And maybe unlike Red Dead Redemption, where sometimes you have repeating bounties, there's this thing in which the bounty is always different. There's this AI that changes the appearance and even how the bounty hunter acts. Like, does he want to stand up and fight, or does he just want to get away, or does he think he can outsmart you? Speaking of which, I think Euphoria would be also good because, you would have Boba Fett shootings like stormtroopers or New Republic members in the leg. You could have, all of these great effects following the ways of Euphoria physics. So, I really do hope a new Boba Fett game gets made, and it doesn't have to be by Bethesda or Rockstar. Just whatever the studio is, making a new Boba Fett game has a lot of hype. It has a lot of potential. I really hope that my favorite bounty hunter ever... Well, then again, there's John Marston. They're tied. But anyway, I really hope that one of my favorite bounty hunters will return in an epic new game, dedicated all to him. Now on to our next update. Now, you're probably all here for it. Black Ops 2. The reveal trailer was released just a week ago, and what do I have to say about Black Ops 2 that I didn't have to say about Modern Warfare 3? Well, Black Ops 2 looks more promising, to be honest, than Modern Warfare 3. Now, as I've said before, I liked Modern Warfare 3, the new mechanics of the multiplayer they introduced, and Spec Ops. That was pretty cool, but Black Ops 2 seems to be more of my setting. The tagline is, "The future is back," and this time, from what I've gathered, it looks like it's set in a far future. And of course, you all know this, but let me just say something. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 1, 2, and 3. They were placed in what I say the not-so-distant future, meaning it wasn't like 10 years or maybe 15 years, well, maybe not 10 years, say 20 years, 30 years, 40 years into the future where we think all this new technology can be invented. No. Modern Warfare, the events of this whole terrorist rebirth in Russia and the Middle East, it takes place in 2011, where Modern Warfare was released in 2007. Modern Warfare 2 comes out in 2009, and it takes place in the year 2016. And with Modern Warfare 3, that comes out in 2011, it takes place again in 2016. That's probably 4 to 5 years in the future. While it does look like it would have some good elements about it, is not really the setting if you were expecting some high-tech futuristic game. And right now, I'm looking for a high-tech futuristic game. Like, why do we have Modern Warfare in the first place? Simple. A lot of FPS games were mostly World War II. World War II, World War II, World War II. Pretty much until Modern Warfare, all the Call of Duty games were based around events of World War II, whether it was Russia, Normandy invasions, but now when people got Modern Warfare, they were like, oh yeah, not only do we get a game that's set more in the future, but we get an original storyline, an original war. That's good. But onto Black Ops 2, the setting for Modern Warfare kind of exhausted itself with the same setting. Now, they do use cool equipment. Like there's, of course, there's laser lighting with guns, but there's also night vision. There's also high-tech guns on helicopters and tanks. But then again, it just looks like stuff we have now, such as in the War on Terror. It's just that in Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3, it just seems a little bit more advanced and easier to use. Black Ops 2 from the trailer has helicarriers, giant skyscrapers, tanks that can move on their own. They look like all of these robots. It looks all like this big, futuristic, Blade Runner-esque setting. It looks really cool. I am actually really, really looking forward to Black Ops 2. It's going to be released, as we all know, this year on Veterans Day, which this year is the 13th. And the story also looks promising. As I've said before, I don't know if I can exactly say this, but I think I slightly like the plot of Black Ops more than Modern Warfare 2. But then again, I still think Modern Warfare has the best story overall. But Black Ops 2 seems like it's going to really, really improve from Black Ops. I'm not saying Black Ops is bad, but what I mean by really improve is that continue the storyline in a good manner. For example, if, as you've seen in the trailer, spoiler, Miller is very, very old. He's retired, so maybe this is his next generation, maybe even his son fighting him, and it's kind of like a hero's quest. He has to live up to the responsibility and basically go through all of this madness of war to prove himself. Maybe his father doesn't like him, maybe his father wants to go to war for the glory, and maybe if it's a different setting, it could be a reverse story, where in past Call of Duties, it seems like you were fighting for a government of good, trying to stop terrorism and communism and all this. Maybe it's the opposite. Maybe in this futuristic society, you're actually part of a rebellion. Maybe America or other nations like, I don't know, Japan, France, or Great Britain have become fascist dictatorships, and you're part of a rebellion that's trying to restore democracy. That seems also cool because, I don't know why, there's just something about Miller said, the world will always need people like us. That just makes me feel it's kind of be a reverse, government fighting rebels. This time it's just going to be rebels fighting government. And what I'm thinking is that the gameplay, that's the thing, the gameplay looks like it has a lot of potential to change. Whereas in Modern Warfare 3, you saw it was pretty much the engine of Modern Warfare 2, just changed slightly. Black Ops 2 has a lot of potential. As you can see here, there are helicarriers, pilot different parts of helicarriers. Maybe you can operate more than 2 weapons at once. Maybe you can walk across the helicarriers as somebody else is flying it. Maybe you can have different commands. Maybe you can tell one soldier, hey, I want you to supply machine guns to the top of that building, and you land a bunch of mini grenades on that roadblock. And that will happen. So maybe it could be more strategic, and not we're just going around blasting other people, getting to whoever it is, the main bad guys or the enemy base. So that's that. What do I have to expect from multiplayer? Same thing, downloadable content, maps. Are there going to be zombie in Black Ops 2? I say you could expect it, but actually, yeah, you could expect it. Like zombies in the far future, that's cool. So Black Ops 2 looks promising. Has a different setting. Has a lot of potential to have different gameplays, such as with jetpacks. Maybe it can be more strategic. Also, going back to gameplay, helicopters, maybe futuristic guns. Maybe you have like assault rifle, light machine gun hybrids. You have shotgun snipers. You have all of these awesome guns, and it looks like it has a lot of potential. Black Ops 2, I have to say, is looking more original and promising than Modern Warfare 3. Now, P.S. spoilers. This is where the spoilers come in. Treyarch, are you going to tell us what happened to Reznov? Now, from what we gathered, it looks like he did die in Black Ops. You know, he helped Miller escape from Verkuda. Yeah, that's what it is, Verkuda. And after he lets Miller escape, Reznov just basically says, "Freedom for you, Mason, not for me." And he goes off and he dies a hero. But, although that's what people keep on telling Miller, here's the thing. There's a code in Call of Duty Black Ops if you unlock all the intel, and it translates to, Reznov is dead. Or is he? No body was found. Now, the reason that doesn't look promising that they're going to explain it is this is the near future. And if Miller's like, I don't know, 80 years old, then Reznov, if he did survive, has certainly passed away. So, what is the story going to be with Reznov? Do you have to collect all the intel again, and then afterwards you're going to find another message that you have to decode? So, there are three options. Number one, this is what I think. Reznov did tie it for Kuda, and basically the message was just, oh, don't worry, fans, he might not be dead, but, sometimes you just gotta have a lighthearted nature to your fans. Number two, yes, it turns out that he did survive, and maybe you find an audio tape when you collect all the intel that records Reznov's last words, that he's basically proud of what Miller's gonna do, and he's gonna stop, what was it, Nova 6, yeah. Or, number three, Treyarch just drops the whole thing, it leaves it to debate, basically, fans can debate in Black Ops whether or not Reznov died, and basically in Black Ops 2, they just drop the whole thing and they move on. So, what did happen to Reznov? That's what I want to know. But anyways, that's it for the Black Ops hype. That's it for that's it for my opinion on the Black Ops 2 hype. It looks promising, and I'll be sure to play a few rounds with other people. So, what I believe to be the last pack of downloadable content Rocksteady is going to release for Batman Arkham City is Harley Quinn's Revenge. Now, the reason why that they're releasing this is, of course, usually with complete editions. Batman Arkham City, the complete edition, is coming out soon because it's the half-year anniversary of the game, and there's this new downloadable content bundle pack with it. A new little storyline called Harley Quinn's Revenge. Now, don't worry, it's not a complete edition exclusive. Everybody's gonna get it. If you purchased a normal edition of the game, you're basically going to get it on May 29th for $10, and it looks pretty interesting, actually. It's a really good setting, and to be honest, I'm excited for this. I thought I would have to wait. I thought, and I bet many others thought, that we would have to wait another 3 years for an entire game based off this. But here it is, already in downloadable content, not even a year after the game's released. So, major spoilers. Whatever you do, don't listen. If you want to know the ending of Batman Arkham City on your own, don't watch this video. Just pause it right here and have a great day. Okay, so, at the end of Batman Arkham City, Joker was unable to get the cure. It was the Joker's fault and Batman's fault. At the end, when Batman had the cure, he drank his part and he saved half for Joker, but Joker stabbed him in the shoulder, which of course caused Batman to lose grip on his grasp on the vial. It fell and it broke, and Joker couldn't get his cure, and at such a convenient time, he died about I'd say a few seconds later, and with his last words, he said, "That actually is pretty funny." And then after that, he just died. And Batman later carried his body out to the Gotham City Police, and of course, Harley Quinn, you only saw her for a little second. She was like, and then afterwards, she began crying. You could briefly see that as Catwoman is looking over the theater, and basically, Batman, what happened? So, that was a really, really powerful ending. I can't believe that they just pretty much decide to end Joker's life there, and Joker pretty much has only died 3 times as far as I know. Once in Batman 1989, a second time in Batman Beyond Return of the Joker, and now a third time in Batman Arkham City. Now, of course, as you would expect, Harley Quinn was dearly, dearly in love with the Joker, and although their romance is not exactly like Harley Quinn loves Joker and Joker loves Harley back, although it's not quite that, it's mad love, as I like to call it. Watch the episode of the animated series Mad Love if you want to find out about that. But Harley Quinn, as we all know, is really, really friggin' crazy. I mean, she is out of her mind. She was once an expert psychiatrist, but she got seduced by the Joker, basically fell into the dark side, and she is as psychotic as pretty much the Joker, to be honest, yeah. So, because of this, she blames Batman for the death of the Joker, though it was probably half his fault. Joker should have just stabbed Batman in the shoulder, basically, like a moron, knowing that he's probably going to drop the vial. So now she's out for revenge. She's probably going to cause all sorts of stuff throughout Arkham City. She's probably going to go out after Gotham City, and you've basically got to stop her. Now, what I'm interested in here is overall the new missions. Of course, are going to be new main missions to take care of Harley Quinn, to make sure that she's basically stop this whole regime that she's starting. She's obviously in control of Joker's gang, and Robin, as far as I know, Robin is now going to be in this game more. As you know, in the original Batman Arkham City, although you can play as him, he only got about a few actual lines in the campaign of Batman Arkham City. But now it's revealed by information that Kevin Conroy leaked at, I believe it was Comic-Con or MagFest or whatever it is. There is more recorded dialogue for Robin, and even, as I've heard, Nightwing, that was supposed to make it into the main campaign when Arkham City was released, but it was never done. And apparently the stuff we may have missed out with all that missing dialogue is probably going to be in Harley Quinn's Revenge. This I'm really looking forward to. I would say that this is a must-get when it comes out. I'm really excited. We've only had pretty much minor DLCs, like a new character here or there, and maybe some new net maps, but this time we're basically getting a story expansion. So, this looks pretty interesting. Maybe we can also expect more villains. As you've seen, it was hinted that a lot of the villains may return through Easter eggs. Black Mask has escaped. Hush has escaped. Killer Croc is in the sewers. It's been, if you activate an Easter egg, it's been confirmed. Scarecrow, for all we know, could have survived and made it to Arkham City. So all of these villain encounters do have a lot of potential. So that's it for my Pac-Mania update. I'll see you all later, and bye-bye.